Hi, I'm Alex McCord and welcome to The Real Deal on thestir.com. Today we have got episode 4 of Kandi's wedding, followed by season 9, episode 10 of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And prepare yourself for a lot of bleeps today because, may I say, last night was a night on television. From behavior to actual, it was a dirty, dirty night. Let's clean it up, shall we? First, in Atlanta on Kandi's wedding, we have the next chapter in the telenovela of Mama Joyce drama. I don't know about you, but I'm beginning to think that Mama Joyce is simply chewing up scenery and playing to the camera. I mean, she's good at it, but if she were my mama, I would not let her get away with the nonsense she spews. Would you? We're counting down to the big day, and there's quite a lot of filler in this episode between the bachelor and bachelorette parties, although I did have to giggle at the entertainment provided by Real Housewife of Atlanta, Phaedra Parks. Leave it to Miss Southern Hospitality to find a little person and a very large person for the exotic dancers. Sidebar, was it news to anyone else that Phaedra represents all these erotic entertainers? That was a throwaway line, but it surprised me. Did it you? Anyway, for me, the drama boiled down to 2 points. First, Mama Joyce. I was pleased that she stepped up and agreed to walk Kandi down the aisle. She should never have said no in the first place. And I liked it that she was about to apologize to Kandi when they were in the cemetery visiting the grave of her son, Kandi's brother. That mother-daughter moment was beautiful. However, when Mama Joyce came right up to the point that she was going to apologize, she was going to say the words, Kandi cut her off and said, Mama, you don't have to say the words. She shut her down. So here's the question. I wasn't quite sure in that moment whether Kandi was exerting control over her mother. I can control when you speak and when you don't. I don't want to hear the apology, so I will not hear it. Or was she being a doormat in letting her mother get away with it? Because I think she let her mother get away without apologizing. So it's sort of a win for the mom because she didn't have to actually say the words. What did you think? The next storyline that stuck out to me was, of course, the prenuptial agreement drama. I hope, for Todd's sake, that this prenup storyline was contrived. I hope it was engineered and agreed upon way in advance and then milked for storyline at the last second. I hope so. Because if it wasn't, if Kandi really, truly did blindside Todd with a prenuptial agreement he had never seen 2 days before the wedding, nor agreed to in principle, more fool him for not running away faster. Now, this is where pop culture and gossip travels faster than television. We already know that it has a happy ending. We already know that Todd did agree to marry Kandi and the wedding happened. We know he didn't bolt. However, we are meant to think, via TV, that Kandi just dropped this bomb in Todd's lap and expected him to sign it. Now, maybe in the real world there are men and women who do that, but this is the Housewives. And let's not forget, Todd was a producer on The Housewives before he was a boyfriend or a fiancé. Now, why is that important? Well, Todd's worked in reality TV for years, and there are all sorts of contracts that have gotcha clauses in them, and you have to read them and go through them with a fine-tooth comb and scour them for any potential clauses that could come back to bite you, right? He's experienced. This is the nature of the business. And yes, it's a real marriage, but it's also on reality television, and Todd's not stupid. I'm hoping that they talked out the deal points and agreed to everything in principle and then allowed the lawyers to sort of create this last-minute drama. That's what I'm hoping happened. Yes, and the lawyers. Let's talk about them. Randy Kessler, Todd's lawyer, represented Nene and Portia in their divorces. He also did Nene's prenup for her remix remarriage to Greg. This guy is all over television as a cable news divorce expert and reality TV. So he says, oh, I need more time with the prenup. Oh, I couldn't possibly do it, although here are all my deal points. And Kandi's lawyer, Stephanie, sees the, oh, I couldn't possibly do it, I need more time, and she doesn't even bother calling him back. To me, it feels like both of them are grandstanding and hoping the clock runs out or the bill runs up. Who knows? But my biggest disappointment with the prenuptial drama, Kandi herself. I lost all respect for Kandi this episode. I really did. She turned into Mama Joyce. Now, we've seen glimpses of Kandi's peach falling not too far from the tree before. Remember the pajama party when she went bananas on Peter and Cynthia's sister? But watching Kandi play act and mock Todd as she read the lawyer's email out loud to her friends with the comments on the prenup, that was pretty disgusting. It was just like Mama Joyce calling Todd's dad a pimp and his mother a prostitute. And we'll have to wait 2 weeks for the 2-hour cliffhanger because next week we've only got a little first look. I think Kandi's attitude was... Speaking of let's skip over to the Kardashians. Episode 10 of season 9, and it is all about poop. Great Dane dog poop, that is. It makes me so glad that technology has not yet given us smell-o-vision. So, Kendall Jenner has a Great Dane, which she keeps at her mother's home while she travels the world for modeling gigs. Personally, I do not see how the storyline even got as far as it did. If I were Chris, I would force Kendall to put down her own credit card at a kennel or doggy day spa, and whenever she leaves home, the dog leaves too. Simple. It was incredibly amusing, though, to watch Chris and Kim screech and howl as they cleaned up doggy diarrhea. Or rather, Chris cleaned it up, Kim sprayed perfume and ran away, then was busted by her friends at girls' night for wearing a blouse that reeked of dog. I can understand from a behind-the-scenes producer perspective using the dog as storyline. Cute, dirty fun. But it all went south for me with Kendall's attitude. Kendall was unapologetic and bratty, and somehow made the dog poo all her mother's fault. Have to say, folks, that these Kardashian girls make me so glad my children are no longer growing up on reality TV, because Kendall is a spoiled, self-entitled monster. We should just retitle this episode, Kendall is a Horrible Person. In fact, go with me here. This could be Chris's revenge on her daughter, which, if you think about it, is pretty sweet. Okay, we've all been there. You have friends over at your home and your child does something obnoxious. You throw up your hands and say to your friends, "See what I have to put up with?" Well, Chris just got to say that to 2 million people watching the show, which, if you think about it, is a much better return than your average dinner party. In any case, Kendall looks even more ridiculous when Khloe explains to her that 1, ambulances are not free, and 2, you have to license your dog and that's not free either. If I ran the Kardashians, I would put that Great Dane in Scott's mobile Mercedes-Benz office and let it ride around all day long, and then park it in front of Scott's car, blocking him in. How about that? But wait, we're not done with the Kardashian crew yet. Did you hear the rumor about Rob Kardashian going on The Biggest Loser? The gossip mills were churning when Rob left Kim and Kanye's wedding early last month and skipped the ceremony and all the parties. Now, apparently, Rob is being strong-armed onto the NBC show by Chris, who wants him to be skinny and not embarrassing. Ouch. We'll have to wait and see whether it's true or not, but if I were Chris, I would worry more about the dogs in the house than I would Rob's weight, wouldn't you? Let me know what you thought in the comments, and don't forget to watch playlists of your favorite show on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube, and I will see you here tomorrow. For now, I am Alex McCord. You're watching The Real Deal on thestir.com.